before death, Sal Mineo revealed the names of Hollywood gay actors he secretly dated, and that wasn't good at all. Sal Mineo, the guy who was once a teen idol, the one who bravely lived true to himself in an era full of prejudice and discrimination, a shining star, suddenly pushed into the shadows because of romantic secrets. And then, right before departing forever, he revealed names that shocked all of Hollywood. Secret romances with famous gay actors, passionate but also painful dates, and their consequences, not good at all. First, let me introduce Sal Mineo in detail, so you can picture him more clearly. Born on January 10, 1939 in New York, in a Sicilian immigrant family, Sal, or fully Salvatore Mineo Jr., grew up in difficult circumstances. His father was a coffin maker, a detail that sounds somewhat eerie and ironic when thinking about his tragic fate later. His mother, a strong woman, saw potential in her son and enrolled him in dance and acting school from a young age. Imagine a boy with deep black eyes, a charming smile, and innate talent, stepping into the entertainment world full of traps and fierce competition. That was Sal Mineo, who before turning 10 had already started appearing on local TV shows. He not only acted but also sang well, danced skillfully, and quickly became a phenomenon on the New York theater stage. In those early years, Sal learned to face pressure, subtle discrimination because of his Italian roots, but he didn't know yet that bigger prejudices were waiting ahead. Sal's career truly exploded with the classic film Rebel Without a Cause in 1955. This is a movie that many older viewers like you probably still remember clearly, because it marked the rise of the rebellious youth generation after World War II. Sal played Plato, a sensitive, lonely teenager full of inner conflicts. This role not only earned him an Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actor, making him one of the youngest actors to achieve that at age 16, but also turned him into a youth icon. Plato is considered one of the first gay characters on the big screen, though in that era, everything had to be cleverly concealed under a vague veil. Alongside James Dean, the guy with a rebellious look and mesmerizing charm, and Natalie Wood, the beautiful and talented actress, Sal shone brightly. But behind the stage lights, Sal's relationship with director Nicholas Ray was full of complexity and mystery. Ray, 27 years older than Sal, created the Plato role based on his own son and chose Sal for his cute appearance. There were rumors that Ray had sexual intentions towards Sal when he was still a minor. This makes us pause and reflect. In Hollywood back then, power often came with abuse, and Sal, with the innocence of youth, had to face such shadows. That's part of the mystery, part of the pain he carried throughout his life. And then we come to the most secret part, the part that makes today's story so dramatic and emotional. The gay romances that Sal secretly dated with famous Hollywood actors before his death. In private interviews and shares with close friends, Sal revealed some names that stirred public opinion and shook Hollywood. First must mention James Dean, Sal's close friend and biggest crush. They met on the set of Rebel Without a Cause, and the chemistry between them didn't stop on screen. Sal once admitted he was incredibly in love with Dean, and there were secret romantic moments, discreet late-night dates in Hollywood. Dean, with his masculine, rebellious image, was also rumored to be bisexual, and this relationship was full of passion but also jealousy, societal prejudice, but it wasn't good at all, because Dean died in a tragic car accident just weeks before the film's release, leaving Sal in unbearable grief. Sal once shared that losing Dean was like losing a part of his soul, and perhaps that's why he started being more open about himself later, even knowing it would bring heavy consequences to his career. Not stopping at James Dean, Sal also had a secret romance with Bobby Sherman, a young actor and famous singer at the time. According to revelations before dating, Sal guided Sherman on gay relationships because Sherman was confused and unsure about himself back then. This was a passionate romance, with discreet meetings, secret love letters, but also full of risks because Hollywood then didn't accept it. There were even rumors that Sal's girlfriend, Jill Howarth, called off the engagement after discovering this affair with Sherman. This relationship isn't good, not good at all, because it led to internal scandals, making Sal isolated and losing many role opportunities. Sherman later became a teen idol star, but Sal was pushed into the shadows, and he once expressed regret about those romantic choices. Next, there were rumors about a romance with Paul Newman, the legendary star with mesmerizing blue eyes. Newman, at the peak of his career then, was said to have secret meetings with Sal during the filming of Exodus in 1960. Sal once revealed that Newman was someone he deeply admired, and this relationship wasn't just friendship but had romantic elements. But Newman, with his model family image, kept this secret tightly, and Sal fell into suffering when the romance couldn't be public. Some sources say Sal was madly in love with Newman, but Newman only saw it as a passing phase. The consequence was Sal faced even heavier prejudice, because Newman was a masculine icon, and any rumor could destroy both careers. Not good at all, right? These revelations, even if just whispers before death, made Sal a target for the media hounding. Additionally, there were rumors about Marlon Brando, the guy with a strong appearance and outstanding acting talent. Brando was said to have discreet dates with Sal, especially during the period when Sal was seeking support from big stars. Brando, who also had his own sexual secrets, perhaps shared with Sal the difficulties of living true in Hollywood. But this relationship was full of complexity, with arguments and sudden breakups, leading to pain for Sal. There are even sources mentioning Tony Perkins and Brandon DeWilde as people Sal had indirect romantic connections through Newman, but details remain vague and full of mystery. And don't forget Courtney Burr, Sal's last same-sex lover, lasting 6 years. Burr, an acting coach, was Sal's emotional support in the years of being boycotted. They lived together, shared everything, but this relationship was also exploited by the media after Sal's death, turning it into a scandal instead of sincere love. After the initial successes with Rebel Without a Cause, Sal continued to shine in Giant in 1956, again alongside James Dean. This film is an epic about Texas with grand scenes and deep acting. Sal played a young Mexican who joined World War II, and this role not only proved his talent, but also reinforced his image as a versatile actor. But Hollywood began to prejudice him clearly, always the rebellious teen, street criminal, or minority character. With his typical Italian appearance, black hair, tanned skin, Sal refused to change his name to something Americanized, like Martin or Newman. He was proud of his Sicilian roots, often telling family stories about immigrant parents and the difficulties they faced in New York. But that made him pushed into supporting roles, villain roles, or exotic roles that Hollywood used for diversity without real fairness. In 1960, with Exodus alongside Paul Newman, Sal received a second Oscar nomination for playing a Jewish man sexually abused by Nazi soldiers. That scene was bold enough to shock audiences because the word gay was still taboo, and Sal had to act with real pain. He once said in an interview, "I was abused like a woman." That confession moved many people and brought him a Golden Globe, but also marked the start of the boycott. But folks, Sal's career didn't stop at cinema. He was also a talented singer, with a warm voice and rock and roll style fitting the era. In 1957, the song "Start Movin'" became a big hit, climbing the charts and selling over 1 million copies. Sal performed on TV, with a seductive smile and energetic dance moves, making millions of girls swoon. He had other songs like "Lasting Love" and "Party Time," and his album was warmly received. At age 18, Sal received an Emmy nomination for a TV role, proving he had everything to become a heartthrob, the guy who melts teen girls' hearts, like Elvis Presley or Ricky Nelson. Imagine Sal on stage, with an open-collar shirt, singing about love and rebellion, while deep inside, He was struggling with his sexual identity. That's part of the mystery that makes his story more captivating than ever. However, from the late 1950s, Sal's career began to decline due to piled-up prejudices. He was labeled the Switchblade Kid, from delinquent roles in films like Crime in the Streets or Somebody Up There Likes Me. The roles repeated: dangerous teen and youth in danger, native in Disney films like Tonka, or street criminal in The Young Don't Cry. Hollywood saw him as not white enough for heroic leads, and with Italian origins, he was often compared to mafia or negative images. Let's pause a moment to feel that injustice. Folks, at our age, those who've witnessed the McCarthyism era, when being gay and different was seen as sin, surely understand the pressure Sal endured. He started living true to his bisexuality at age 21, not caring much about Hollywood, but that only slammed doors shut. He posed nude for painter Harold Stevenson in 1962 in the painting The New Adam, a giant work celebrating the male body, called the world's largest nude by the press. That was a bold declaration about sexuality and self, but also the reason he was boycotted from major studios. After that, Sal found more freedom in theater. In the late 1960s, he directed and produced the play Fortune and Men's Eyes, set in prison with themes of homosexuality and sexual abuse. The play was based on the author's true story, and Sal not only produced, but acted alongside Don Johnson, who later became a TV star and father of Dakota Johnson. The play was a big success, with controversial explicit scenes, but when adapted to film in 1971 under the same name, Fortune and Men's Eyes, Sal wasn't even consulted. That was another blow to his career, making him feel betrayed. But Sal didn't give up. He continued with TV and theater roles, and in 1972, in an interview with writer Bose Hadley, he boldly came out as bisexual. "I have a girl in every port and a few boys in every port." He also criticized Hollywood. "Half the gays here pretend to be bi, but it's a survival issue. Some don't have the courage to say they're gay." These words are full of emotion, full of mystery, because they reveal an underground world of Hollywood, where love must be hidden, and those who dare speak out pay the price. And then we come to the darkest part, the part that makes today's story so dramatic and moving: Sal's mysterious death in 1976, at age 37, when his career showed signs of revival with a role as a bisexual thief in a successful play. Sal was stabbed to death at his home entrance in Los Angeles. He returned from play rehearsal, parked the car and stepped into the garage, then was suddenly attacked. A fatal knife wound to the heart, and though nearby witnesses heard cries for help, by the time rescuers arrived, Sal was gone forever. Imagine that scene, a once shining star lying there in a pool of blood, with money and jewelry still intact on him, ruling out robbery. Police found male nude photos in his home, and the media immediately turned the case into a sex scandal. They rumored Sal was killed by a rent boy, an angry lover, or related to drugs and sadomasochism. Only gay men were interrogated as suspects, and the media, influenced by the mysterious death of Italian director Pier Paolo Pasolini the previous year, also a famous LGBT figure killed by a rent boy, pushed the sexual sin theory hard. They even compared it to Ramon Novarro's case in 1968, a gay actor killed by two rent boys. These rumors not only humiliated Sal, but obscured the truth, making the case full of mystery. A year later, Lionel Ray Williams, a black man, was convicted based on his wife's testimony. He came home bloodied and bragged about killing Sal Mineo, but witnesses described the killer as white, with blonde or curly hair, or Italian-Mexican appearance, not matching Williams at all. He was sentenced to over 50 years, but served only 10, and the case remains full of contradictions to this day. Even a year after Sal's death, another actress was stabbed similarly in the same West Hollywood area, with an identical knife, suggesting conspiracy theories about a serial killer or local drug issues. since that area was notorious for gangs and dealers. Some say Sal accidentally witnessed a drug deal or was mistaken for someone else. These mysteries make us question, was justice truly served, or did prejudice about Sal's sexuality distort the investigation? From my personal view, this is an emotional tragedy because Sal died while preparing to direct his first film, leaving an unfinished legacy and a beautiful love with Courtney Burr. From my personal view, as someone who's deeply researched old Hollywood, Sal Mineo was a silent hero, a victim of the era, but also a pioneer for the LGBT community. In the time we've witnessed, when homosexuality was hidden behind fake smiles, Sal dared to live true, dared to reveal secrets even knowing the consequences weren't good. His legacy lives on through the role of Plato in Rebel Without a Cause, a symbol for those who feel lost, unloved, and the revelations before death, though bringing pain, paved the way for change. Today, in 2025, we see a more diverse Hollywood, with openly out stars like Elliot Page or Kristen Stewart. But remember, Sal was one of the first to step out. He once said, "It will change a lot in the future if gay actors come out. We're here and we're staying. No more playing the cliché of killing LGBT at the end of the story." Those words are full of hope, full of emotion, and make me, and hopefully you, feel proud of his journey. Let's recall some other roles of Sal that few remember. In Crime in the Streets in 1956, he played an angry street teen, with acting that made audiences shiver. This film, directed by Don Siegel, explored juvenile crime, and Sal brought emotional depth to the character. Then, in Somebody Up There Likes Me, he acted alongside Paul Newman, the one later rumored romantically, and his role was a young boxer, full of life but also tragedy. These films not only proved talent, but reflected Sal's life, always pushed into outsider roles. Into the 1960s, Sal tried The Gene Krupa Story, where he played the legendary jazz drummer, and he actually learned to drum or preparation. The film is full of lively jazz, and Sal sang a few songs, combining his musical talent, but despite critical success, it didn't save his declining career. Sal also appeared in Dino in 1957, a film about juvenile reform, and A Private's Affair in 1959, where he played a young soldier with humorous elements. These roles, though small, showed Sal's diversity, but Hollywood insisted on typecasting him. He once shared in an interview, "You start how you end. They pay for the first spark, then give no more chances." Those words are full of bitterness and make us think about injustice in the entertainment industry. Additionally, Sal appeared in Escape from the Planet of the Apes in 1971, but only as an ape. He wore ape costume and didn't show his face, proof of his career's decline. But on stage, he shone with P. Ma, Your Cat Is Dead in 1975 as a bisexual thief. And this play brought praise as well as finances for him to direct his first film, a project he never completed. Let's talk more about Sal's personal life to clarify the picture. He had a romance with Jill Howarth, the beautiful English actress, and they were once engaged, but as mentioned, it broke because of romantic secrets. Sal also had close friends like Natalie Wood, with whom he shared many secrets, and they often talked about Hollywood difficulties. Wood, with her own tragic life, understood Sal's pain well. Besides, Sal loved animals, especially dogs, and he often spent time on charity activities. Though little known, he was also a painter, with abstract works reflecting his turbulent inner world. These details make Sal more relatable, not just a star but a human with small joys. About music, Sal not only sang hits but composed. He had the album Sal in 1957 with songs about teen love and toured across America. Imagine Sal on the Ed Sullivan Show stage, singing with a warm tenor voice, making audiences applaud endlessly. But when sexuality rumors spread, music contracts dwindled, and Sal had to return to theater to survive. That's part of the tragedy that makes us feel regretful. Now, let's dig deeper into conspiracy theories around Sal's death. Besides Williams, some say the killer was a serial murderer operating in West Hollywood, an area famous for the LGBT community and crime issues. That area, in the 1970s, was full of gay bars, nightclubs, and drugs, and Sal lived there with Burr. Perhaps he accidentally clashed with a dealer, or was mistaken in a settling. Another theory is Hollywood silenced the case to avoid a gay-related scandal affecting the industry's image. Media back then was full of discrimination, with articles calling Sal a gay star killed, instead of focusing on talent. Today, with new podcasts and books, the case is revisited, but the mystery remains, making the story full of suspense. Ending today's journey, I want to emphasize that Sal Mineo was not just a victim but an inspiration. He teaches us about resilience, about living true despite bad consequences. Dear folks, at our age, we've seen how society has changed, from discrimination to acceptance, and Sal was part of that change. Remember him with his smile, with the Play-Doh roll, and with his brave revelations. Thank you for listening. If you please like and subscribe to hear more about Hollywood Secrets. See you in the next video.